everybody, it's Emily from Life So Savory, and today we're going to do a fun project, hopefully, using a light sweater knit to create a fun and airy summer top. So I've been experimenting with using sweater knits to make summer tops, including this tank. This is the crossback tank, and it's made with a really cozy but light pink sweater knit. And so after I made this one, I thought, well, what else could I make with sweater knits for summer? So I've been using patterns that are for summer with fabrics that maybe we traditionally don't think of for summer, but I think there's a lot of great options of sweater knit that can, and it's a fun way to use some of those more open weave sweater knits that maybe aren't as good for the colder months. So that's what I am doing today. I'm happy to be here and excited to be sewing with you guys and working on this, and I'll actually be putting all of these together and my suggested patterns and all that, plus links for fabric in a post for Friday. So I thought I'm gonna start getting ready for that Friday post by sewing live with you guys today, and then also I'm getting ready to film some more episodes for It's So Easy, and I need some more tops to wear on the show because I feel like I only have so many tops that are like appropriate with the colors and the style and everything that they like, and I can't use the same one because then people are looking at old episodes and thinking, wait, why is she wearing the same shirt as she did in the new episodes? So I'm sewing myself a sweater for that. So I'm not going to sew this one live, but I have this one cut out in this fun like tan and black pattern. So I'm going to do that one, and then I might make a different pink and cream one. Anyway, and today we're going to sew sort of a cap sleeve top. So let me just do a couple shares, and then we'll go ahead and get started on that. I'm glad you guys are here. Let me know you're around. Say hi, and we're gonna sew a sweater. So if you haven't sewn with sweater knit, I'm a little bit obsessed with it, and I've been doing over the past couple years a lot more with making my own sweaters and creating some loose sort of sweater patterns that are self-drafted, and it's been fun. So that's what we're doing, and I'm just gonna share this to my group, and let's see, share this here. Okay, so we, I think, are ready to get started. And if you missed my very beginning, I am going to be sewing a summer top using sweater knits. And again, sometimes we think sweater knits are only for winter, but there's actually a lot of really fun loose weave sweater knits that I think can be used for all times of year. And so today I'm going to be adapting the Easy Breezy Summer Tee for women. This is the link to this pattern is in the description of this video if you want to check it out. And I know a lot of you already have this pattern, so it's a great one that maybe you can adapt, or if you have a pattern like it, you can adapt to what I'm doing. I'll show you in a minute, Debbie. So you can adapt to how you want to make it. Okay, so Debbie just asked if any stitching on the back so it doesn't fly completely off in the breeze. You can, I'm trying to think which side's crossed over on. You can stitch down some of this cross. Mine is not, it is completely open, but I'm wearing a tank top today, so it doesn't fly completely open. Usually if I am not wearing a tank under it, I do wear some sort of bralette, is that the term, where it's got lace, or if it is seen, it looks more like a top rather than just a bra underneath. But you could stitch down the top like 6 or 8 inches on that cross part to keep it from being able to fly as wide open. Okay, so here's the back again. I did a little bit of a high-low hem on this version. Okay, so you can see that's the one I'm wearing today, and this is made with a light sweater knit, and it's super comfy and it's so cozy. And so yeah, so today I'm wearing it over a tank top just to avoid any sort of issues, and I usually do often wear a tank underneath, but you could, especially if your sweater knit's at all see-through, which this one that I'm gonna sew today is, you'd wanna wear, you know, something more covering underneath. But so again, this is the crossback tank. You can find it on lifesosavory.com by searching crossback tank. It comes in a women's, I think, extra small through extra large. And it's great. It's not super fitted. It's fun. The one thing I would say after further testing, and you know, I've made more of them over the years, is I would lower the arm side just a little bit. The original pattern for me is a little bit choky on my pits. So I just lower that scoop of the arm a little bit. But that's the only note, and that note is in the instructions that I've given that for you. So anyway, this is the sweater that I have made a few months ago and have been wearing. I also, what is this doing? It's just, sorry, it didn't do my, okay. It didn't do my shares, so let me just try and copy this again and see if I can, I don't know why I didn't share that video, sorry. Okay. Weird. Just give me a second. So like I said, we're using the Easy Breezy Summer Tee. If you already have this, it's a great one. If you don't, you can get the pattern in the link in the description of this video. And I do not know why it's weird. It's like not recognizing my video, which is weird. I'm just trying to share the link. Trying one more time. If this doesn't work, we're just gonna eliminate it. I don't know. Okay, well, we might not have as big of a crowd today because I can't share it where I normally do, but that's okay. You guys are here and you're gonna get my attention. If you have a sewing group or friends you know would like this, I would love for you to hit share and share it with them. But otherwise, I'll just download this video and I'll probably include it on my post for Friday where I am talking about summer knits, using sweater knits using summer patterns. Okay, so I've cut out almost all of the pattern that I'm gonna sew with you today, but I didn't cut out the front piece just because I wanna show you the sort of one adaptation I'm making to the pattern. Okay, so I've already cut the back, and I think I'm going to widen the neckline because I saw on a sweater recently a really cool, like super wide neckband, and I'm gonna try that today. If it doesn't work, I'll have to rip it out and put a narrower one, but it was so pretty and it was like, I don't know, really wide. So I'm gonna try that and we'll see. So I have to cut the neck opening a little bit larger on this, but I wanted to cut the front first. Okay, so I've already cut that. Here's my super wide neckband. So I'm gonna try to make it this wide. okay? And this, you can see this sweater knit is really an open weave, okay? But it's really cool. It's this off-white and it has a black stripe. I think it's really cute, but we'll have to, you know, try. And then I've cut 2 sleeve cuffs for the little cap sleeves. And let's cut the front and then we'll widen that neckline and we'll start sewing. Okay, I think this should be a relatively quick project. So on the Easy Breezy Summer Tee, there's a neckline here. Maybe, let's see if I can bring this around, sorry. Okay, get another little view of my sewing room. Okay, so there's a neckline here, and then there's this little V cutout. And if you look on the original pattern, you will see that it's got a neck and then it's got an additional sort of cut to make it a deeper V, and just adds a fun little detail. So you can easily make this just a scoop neck by eliminating the second V and just cutting a U here. And I've done that multiple times. So I'm gonna start by doing that. I don't wanna cut my paper pattern, so I'm not going to widen the neckline, but what I wanna do is widen the neckline a couple of inches, and so I'll do that in just a minute. I'm also, because of this sweater knit, I'm eliminating the sort of scoop in the front. I just don't think it's gonna be quite as easy to sew a curved hemline with the sweater knit. Oh, I've got a pattern folder under here. Oh, that I sliced. Look at, I just cut that. Whoops. Okay, and I did try to match the stripes from what I cut for the back with the front. So hopefully our stripes will match. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this over and I'm gonna try to widen that neckline because again, I wanna try this sort of really fat neckband. So I'm gonna cut off about however much I think the neckband will, however wide I think the neckband will be. So we'll see. That it might be a failure, but, and then so what I need to do is then match up the back piece. What did I do with the back piece? Oh, here's my cut pieces. I need to match this up so that I can widen this one the same amount, right? Because we still want the shoulder seams. So I'm going to match the shoulder seams and then I'm going to cut this. The back, of course, is not nearly as scooped. Okay, so you can see that the back is just a small scoop as opposed to the front being a much larger scoop. So I'll sew one shoulder seam together and then we'll take a look and see if we think that the angles look good for a wide band. I don't know, I've never really done it, but I did see this really cute picture where they had, you know, instead of this sort of narrow band, it was a much thicker one. So how did, match the stripes. So when I was laying my front and back, I just made sure that the side seams, that the stripes were in the same place when I cut them on both the front and the back, so that hopefully the side seams will match. I did not, you'll see the rest, I didn't match like on the shoulder or just the sides. So it's barely any stripe matching. Okay, so sewing with a sweater knit, feel free to ask questions along the way. I have only been sewing with sweater knit since I've had a serger, so I can't say how it would go on a regular machine, but I will say that a serger is super helpful, especially when you have such open weaves like this, because it not only sews the seam, but it also, you know, encloses and finishes those loose sweater, what do I want to call it? The knit of the weave of the sweater because it will fray. Okay, so you would probably want to use a zigzag, and then you'd want to go over and finish your seams if you weren't using a serger, to just make sure that all those loose edges were caught up and aren't going to give you trouble or aren't going to fray later. So just something to think about if you don't have a serger. And it's still not foolproof. This seam can still give way eventually because, especially this one, is such a loose weave. And I already noticed right there, it like didn't catch, and I don't know if that was because I cut it weird or I didn't sew it, but I'm going to sew this seam again. To really make sure that I'm at least starting with a good seam. This is very loose sweater knit, so I just, especially this black is a very loose part. So I did not adjust my serger settings. They're just as is, and you can see the seam lays pretty flat, so that's okay on there, not too bad. Okay, so now I have my open neckline, and I'm going to attempt to pin on my wide band, and actually I'm wondering if I'll need to cut a longer band. No, it should stretch. So I don't think I want to stretch it too terribly much because I don't want it to look distorted, but we do have to stretch it or it won't lay flat, right? And so especially with how wide it is, I don't want it to stand up like a collar. I want it to lay nice and flat. So I'm going to stretch it a little bit and pin and clip it. And I don't always, you guys know that I don't always take the time to stretch and pin it. Sometimes I just sew it, but I think today, and because this is a fairly easy, quick sew, that I am going to stretch it all the way along. And I am taking a pretty decent seam allowance. Sometimes I'll sew a very narrow one, but in this case I'm taking a pretty good chunk just to make sure that what I'm sewing is not any of the really loose, the weave that got loosened from cutting. This sweater knit is almost like sewing fleece, thin fleece. It did not fray at all. It was very simple and very easy. Whereas this one that I'm doing is a very loose weave, and so I'm having to be a lot more intentional about making sure I'm catching all those edges and, you know, making sure that everything is in place. So that's just side note on there. So we'll see. Again, I saw someone with this wide sweater recently, or a wide band recently in one of some sewing groups somewhere online, and I just thought it was so cool how wide it was. I had enough. But you know, I also wanted to make sure it lays flat. Okay, so we'll see. All right, so I'm gonna sew with a pretty good seam allowance. And I'm going to have to stretch the top a little bit underneath. Let me get this started. Okay, so then we have to stretch a little bit to sew it. But I do want to make sure sometimes when you stretch the sweater knit curls. So want to keep everything uncurled, but yet laying flat. And this is something I'm totally making up as I'm going. I haven't ever made such a wide neckband before. And if I don't like it, I will be ripping it out, putting a narrow one in. So I cut this neckband almost 4 inches wide. Okay, so I'm trying a 2-inch neckband, whereas normally I would cut my neckbands like probably closer to 1 3/4 inches. I usually don't even make them a full 2 inches, just personal preference. I usually like a thinner neckband. And I'm finding some of this I think I pulled it a little too tight. So I'm releasing some of that as I'm unclipping. Okay. And my kids are here. If you hear background noise, they were told to be, you know, quiet, but there's still a lot of noise going on. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here's our wide neckband. It looks pretty with that black stripe right along the edge. I wonder if I can see if it's gonna lay flat yet. You're fine. I think it has potential. Obviously it needs to press. And I don't think I'm gonna top stitch with such a wide one, but I think we have potential. So we're just gonna go with it and continue with this top. So the next thing we need to do is sew the other shoulder seam. This is a dolman style top. So I think obviously you can make any style top with sweater knit, but personally I like the sort of looser fit, relaxed fit looks of to sew with sweater knit. So again, I'll be putting a lot of patterns that I think work well with sweater knits together for my post on Friday. But this is one, the slouchy sweatshirt pattern on my site is also another one that works great with sweater knits. This is a crossback tank. Did you see last week, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, I posted a brand new tank top pattern, and one of the versions I made was with sweater knit, and it was really cute to have. It's even thinner straps, and I don't think you could do a super loose weave with that style, but I think you can just experiment and play around. And almost all these sweater knits that you're seeing I got in scrap boxes from Sincerely Riley. So a lot of times when you get a scrap box, you get a great deal on fabric, but you don't always know what you're getting. So you might get some fabric that you're thinking, oh, what am I going to do with that? Or that's a looser weave than I thought. But so experimenting with some of these patterns and fabrics is a great way to use up some of that. So here is the front, and yeah, I think I really like. You can see it's like a little bit wobbly here, so definitely needs to be pressed. But I think it has potential, so we're gonna go with it. Okay, so the next thing to do is put on the sleeve caps. Okay, so here I've cut again, it's about, what are these? 4.5 inches that I'm gonna make the sleeve caps with. The original pattern has a much narrower turned up sleeve cuff, and that is not what we're doing today. We're gonna just make sort of a cap sleeve. So because I cut these out, I actually didn't measure if they were I made sure they're kind of the right width, but I don't know that it's exactly the right width. So I'm going to pin this. And this I don't want to stretch. I just want to do 1-to-1 on here. but I might need to trim it a little bit. So you could also sew the side seams first if you wanted, and then add your sleeve cap as a circle if you wanted that cuff to be like, you know, to finish the edge. But you know me, I never really sew things in a circle, so I'm doing it now. This actually is a pretty good width, so I'm going to go with it and see if we need to check that out, or I'll trim it later. Okay, so again, because this is such a loose weave sweater knit, I'm taking probably close to a 1/2 inch seam allowance on here, which is way wider than I ever normally take. But I just want to make sure that any loose bits of the weave are being cut off, and I'm working with the strongest possible fibers that I can for this loose sweater knit. So the width of the sleeve cap is just slightly wider than the neckline, but sort of mimicking that look. Okay, so here we have, this is the neck in this hand, and then this is going to be that sleeve cap there. So you can see how, you know, that's a really cute shoulder, drop shoulder, and then cuff on the sleeve. So let's do the other one. I mean, this is, I called it the Easy Breezy Summer Tee for a reason. It really is easy and breezy to sew in that, you know, there's not a lot to it, but if you've been around for a while, you've known that I've sewn a lot of hacks with this sweater or this shirt, and it's just a really versatile pattern. So, you know, that's one of the reasons that I do love using it is, you know, there's a lot of ways you can do it. So if you have, like I said, if you have another pattern that's a similar style that you feel like you could sew with the sweater knit, that's also a really fun, you know, you could probably be inspired to do something that you already have with some of the ideas that I'm showing here today. Okay, so I'm putting this on. Again, this fabric is really loose, and so I'm doing a lot more pinning / clipping than I normally do because I just am trying to keep everything together. Okay. So I'm sewing 3 layers of fabric here when I sew these sleeves on, 2 layers of the folded over cuff, and 1 layer of the shirt. In the center is that shoulder seam. So we kind of go over that. And the original, like I said, also has a cuff, but it's just a little different style. It's narrower and it's turned up. So these sleeves will actually be a little bit longer than the original sleeves on the top. Okay. I've also sized up 1 just because I want this to be a really loose fit top. Okay. So you can see there's the cute edge of the sleeves, and yes, I will have to wear a cami under it. So that's, I actually have one on today, double duty, the back of this tank, as well as trying this on and showing you guys in just a minute. So we'll check that out when we get there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold this in half with the right sides together, and starting on the ends of those sleeves. Sew there and then down the side, trying to match those side stripes so that the stripes on the side of my top are matching. And once again, being very aware of my seam allowance. Okay. So just stripe matching down the side. with knit fabric, you do have a little bit of give. And then we will hem this on the cover stitch. But just the looser the weave, the more you have to just be aware and careful of what you're sewing and how you're sewing it to make sure you catch all those loose pieces. And I'm going to finish this serger tail here on the underside of that sleeve cap, cuff, whatever you would like to call it. Pull those threads back through. And there we go. Okay, so that's one side. We'll do the other and we'll hem it, and then you'll get to see my super fun top. That is beautiful. So, like I said, so I'm prepping for, I realized today, oh, I've sewn several tops recently with summer sweater knit. And so I decided to sew a couple more because always have more tops. Actually, I don't have a lot of t-shirts, so these will take the place of having some t-shirts. I have a lot of tank tops, lots of tank tops. So I am, let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to have these, and then I'll show off these new ones, including this. I have one cut out on the back of the chair here. I'll show you that fabric. That's going to be a 3/4 sleeve, so could also be a transition piece for fall that I have. Okay, so let's take a look at this right side out, and then we will hem it, and then we'll get to see the final look. I do wonder if I should try it on to see if it's too long. I might do that before, because I did up size. So let's try this on, and then, sorry, you guys get to see my little changeroo here, but I don't want to spend the time hemming it. And then, okay, so what do we think? Does it have potential? Does it have, well, this looks weird. What's weird here? I think, doesn't that look, where is it? Here? Doesn't that look weird? I think when I press this, it's gonna be fine. It's just a little bit wonky. I'm trying to use this as a mirror. Okay, but the sleeves are fantastic. It's absolutely perfect how I wanted. Again, this is one size up from what I would do with knits, just to make it even looser. You can see it's got quite a bit of extra fabric on the sides, but I love it. Okay, and it's a little bit long. So I'm glad I tried this on, because look, it's coming pretty far down. So we could easily do a high-low, which personally I'm a big fan of. So maybe I'll do that. So maybe I'll leave the back. And then where do I want to do the front? Kind of there, and then if I want to wear it up, tucked in or down. If I cut it on this stripe and turn it up, okay, I'm going to pin in the middle of those two stripes, because then if I cut it there, I can turn it up on that stripe line and have it there. Okay, I mean, Patricia, this would be a good length actually to like wear with leggings or something, but with jeans, or shorts, I don't know. So, but you can leave the length. It's definitely a longer length shirt. Yeah. So I think the wide neckline actually turned out really cool, but I do have to see, yeah, if it's a little off center. Okay. So we're going to trim that top and hem it and then go back. So someone was asking about this top is another sweater knit. It's really fleecy, fluffy on the front, but this is a much tighter weave. In fact, it feels like, I would say this one feels like sewing with a thin fleece, a very thin fleece, but that's what this one feels like sewing with. And then this one's kind of in between. So this is the other one I have cut out. You can see it's a really pretty gray and tan stripe. And you can see, I can see a little bit of light through it, but it's super thin. So that's gonna be fun. Okay, so let me trim this. I am gonna leave the back for a little bit longer look. But so to create an easy high-low, I like to fold in half so that the side seams are lined up and the shoulder seams. Mostly the side seams is what we need to worry about. Okay, so what you do then is you start at your highest spot you want in the front, and then I just sort of scoop around to the back. So we'll cut here. So we're going to go straight across that front for just a bit. And then we're going to start to scoop down across the side seam and go from there. So then you can see we have an easy high-low hem that's really cute. So that's my easy method of doing it. Nancy, yes. So this one I will have to wear a tank. I'll show you guys again in just a minute after we hem it. But it is a very loose weave. So this one that I'm wearing today, I totally wouldn't have to wear a tank. Except for the whole back, you know, is a little bit open. Sorry, I've got too many things going on here. So I'm getting ready to go on vacation. I'm filming for It's So Easy. So I feel like I'm prepping like 5,000 sewing projects right now, but we got a lot going on. All right, so I'm going to start sewing at a side seam. I'm going to use the cover stitch. It's pre-threaded with an off-white, so I'm going to just leave that on there. We're going to sew up about a 1-inch hem, and I am not going to pre-pin it. We're just going to go with it. So we're going to fold that under and begin sewing. And this, I was not quite sure how the machine would like this loose of fabric, but it seems to be handling it okay. So this loose weave is definitely not easy on some machines. So I only have 2 needles threaded right now, the 2 outside needles, so we kind of have a wide stitch going on, wide 2-thread stitch. And so now I just made it across the front. So now I'm crossing the other side seam, and I'm going to go down the back that scoops a little bit. When you do this high-low hem, you will notice that your side seams do not fold straight up. So actually the side seams are like this when you fold it up. Susan, I'll show you the back of the tank that I'm wearing in just a minute. It's called the crossback tank because it has a cool crisscross, but that also allows a little bit of skin can show. we were talking about that at the beginning of the show, is do you sew this tank down, or how do you wear it so that if you're out in a breeze, you're not, everything's not showing in the back. So, and of course, how much skin you show is definitely a personal preference. But so I do wear a tank top, or like I said, I'll wear like a decorative bralette style. Okay, so I'm back around. I'm just overlapping my stitches. We're gonna pull this out, chain, cut. Did they come? There's one. Pull out my, okay. So now I'm going to tie off this cover stitch threads, and then I'll show you this hem up close, the front and the back, so you can see what it looks like with this machine. And then I'll try it on for you again. Oh, and I'll show you the back of this one. Okay. So here's the right side. You can kind of see, because there's a tiny bit of tunneling, that there's a top and bottom stitch, but it is really hard to see with this. And then here's the back side with the looper, and it fully encloses and finishes off that raw sweater, the sweater fabric. So hopefully I won't have fraying or unraveling on the back, okay? And then again, we have the front is higher than the back for just a cute, really easy hem. And then for those of you that didn't see, including maybe Susan, oh my goodness, just looked at my floor. What a mess on the floor with this loose weave underneath. This is the cross back tank. You can see how it crosses and it does open. And so I'm wearing a tank top under this one so that if I'm out in the breeze, I don't show everything on the back. Okay, so that's what I have. Oh, the cover stitch is so nice. And this one is also a high-low, just a little bit. Can you see? So anyway, that's super cute. Okay, so let's do the new shirt. And see, it's just definitely just a boxy sort of style. And we'll press the neckline, so hopefully that keeps it. But this is so cute, you guys. Oh, I love it. I love it, love it. So I could tuck it in the front. It's not too long in the front. It's actually pretty easy to wear over the top too. You can see it's a pretty square shape, just a little bit of curve out. And so the adaptation, so this was the original Easy Breezy Summer Tee, and the link to that is in the description of this video. But what I did do is I widened the neckline. So from the original neckline, I cut off, what is this? 2 inches. So it's ended up to be about the original neckline, but my band is a 2-inch band. So, or was 4 inches folded in half. So if you don't widen it, it'll be here, and then you add your normal 1/2-inch band or whatever. So it'll be a similar look, but this, we just have that super wide band on there, so it's just a little bit different look. And then I like that the band up here is mirrored in the band on the sleeve, so I think that ties it all together. So again, okay, I widened the neckline. I did not cut the extra V down the center, so if you're looking at the pattern, it has a scoop and then it has an extra cutout here. So I didn't do that. I just did the scoop, and then I widened it at the neckline, and then I cut the sleeves as is, and I made a wide cuff instead of the original cuff that's on the sleeve. So I mainly used the body shape of the pattern, and then I went from there. But those are two fairly basic edits that you could probably do with this pattern if it works for you, and you get a super cool, just breezy top that is very comfortable. Well, it's as comfortable as the fabric that you choose to do it with. But so yeah, so I have this one. I'm gonna work on the gray and tan stripe one, and then I have maybe a second pink one in the works, again with more like elbow sleeves or 3/4 sleeves. So I was thinking of doing one with my women's raglan pattern and doing pink in the middle and then like a cream on the sleeves, which I think would be really pretty, and maybe just, yeah, like doing it elbow style sleeves for another fun look. So there you go. There's my tutorial for today. I hope this will inspire you to kind of think outside the box with sewing sweater fabric, even in the summer. And now if I lived in a place that was 120 degrees every day, I don't think I'd be wearing any kind of sweater knit unless I worked inside. But here in Colorado, you know, the evenings are cool, the mornings are cool. If I'm inside in the air conditioner, even if I have to step out, this is still very wearable, especially in the tank version. I haven't felt too warm in that at all today. So my vacation is in a warm place, but it's in Wisconsin to see family. So in 2 weeks, I'll be in Cleveland filming It's So Easy. And then after that, I'll end up in Wisconsin. So I kind of, well, it's already Wednesday. So I have like a week and a half to kind of get everything organized and get ready to be gone for a few weeks. So there we go. I will be back next week for sure. Many of you have asked about, I'll give you a little sneak peek teaser about what we're doing next week, about sewing a skirt with the shorts attached, right? Like I've done for my girls version, how to make that for women. So next week we're gonna be exploring combining my women's free legging pattern as well as drafting a half circle skirt for yourself, and then putting those two things together and making a hopefully fun skirt that I can wear with shorts attached to it, and should be a fun project. So I hope you'll join me. That will be next Wednesday, and I'm glad you guys joined me, and I will see you again soon. Bye.